Welcome back, makeup family. Let's talk about the 15 high-end products you need from the Sephora VIB Rouge sale. So it started today, so I wanted to get this video up, and I've got a lot of nice luxury products to show you that I think are worth the investment. We're going to take a walk through them. I'm going to try to put them in the order that I actually use the products, like skincare and so on. And I thought, you know, for a 15 or 20% off sale, it's an opportunity to get brands that you usually can't get from their own website on sale, and, you know, to get a little bit extra off. And so when it's a pricey product, like for example, I use the Shiseido cotton rounds that are awesome, but they're like, I don't know, $5 or $10 a bag. I mean, so yeah, you get 20% off. By all means, stock up if you don't have them. But I thought this was a time to really explode and to really exercise a little fiscal irresponsibility and get some Tom Ford. Let's talk about what we have. For skincare products, the lip serum that I cannot live without, that is amazing, that keeps my lips just moisturized and flawless pretty much, is the Algenist. How about I not hold it upside down since I can't see? It's the Genius Liquid Lip Collagen Serum, and this is what she looks like. This is one of my backup tubes. Maybe I'll get another backup because I now only have one backup, and I use this every day, and it is amazing. I discovered this when I got some, it's got a really cool applicator that you just twist up to keep the product fresh, and it's very, has a like a kind of cooling sensation to it. This is just a really, really great product. This is what she looks like, and it's an awesome product for your lips. It retails for $35, so it's a little bit spendy, you know, as just a lip product goes, but it's really a great serum. I highly recommend this. Like I said, I discovered this when I got some lip injections that went bad and had a horrible allergic reaction, and them after it all resolved, my lips were very dry. They were just they weren't happy, and this makes my lips very happy. This is a really, really great lip product. I cannot say enough good things about it. Like I said, it retails for $35, so to be able to get that on sale is a really good thing. Next skincare product is the Youth to the People Superberry. I use this so much, I'm like wearing the letters off. It's the Superberry Hydrate. This is used to say Hydrate and Glow Dream Mask. And I'm gonna have everything linked below in the description box, but it's this wonderfully emollient, rich cream. It says that it's a mask, but you don't have to rinse it off. You can put this on before you go to bed, or if you have very dry, very irritated skin like I do, then you can use this as a moisturizer, which is what I do. I use it as an eye cream. I use it as on my eczema that I get sort of on the perimeter of my face. I use it all over the place, and it is just amazing. But if you have normal skin and you just want to use it as an overnight mask, it's great for that as well. Highly recommend this. This, by the way, retails, I believe, for $58. So to get this for 20% off is a really, really nice little chunk of change off. That's it for the skincare products. I'm gonna get into my absolute favorite category, which is eyeshadow. I have like about 12 eyeshadow palettes here, and that's really what we come for, right? That's like my favorite category. So from McGrath, I chose the Subliminal palette in terms of the Mothership palettes. Since these retail for $125, which is very spendy, but look how beautiful the packaging is. And the palette is in a very heavy lacquer box. If you haven't had an opportunity yet to explore McGrath, a sale like this is a really good opportunity. I chose the Subliminal. I have all of them, all now 12 of her palettes. But for the Mothership palettes that are available, I chose this one because it is the most neutral, and I like that it had cool tone neutrals. It's one of the most neutral. The other one is also very neutral that I picked. And I picked these specifically because, you know, at $125 price point, you want something that you can really dig into and use on a regular basis. And so this is the Subliminal, the Mothership Subliminal palette. And it's got this gorgeous pop of blue that you can put on your lower line, or you can do a whole blue smoky eye. I mean, there's a lot that you can do with this. It's got those gorgeous special shades on the end that are just amazing. And when you wet them, they're just, it's like jewelry. It's like putting like sparkly jewelry on your eyelid. It's very, very flattering and just unique, very unique. So I chose the Subliminal because this is very like flattering, very neutral. You can get a lot of different eye looks out of this. You can get something that is work and day appropriate, and you can also get something that is like fantastic for the club or for nighttime or dinner with your husband or dinner with somebody else's husband. I'm just playing. And that's beautiful. So to be able to get 20% off on a palette like this is definitely a nice chunk of change to save. So if you've been thinking about Pat McGrath and wondering, you know, oh, which one, you know, should I get? I definitely recommend the Subliminal palette for the larger Mothership ones. And the other large Mothership palette that I recommend highly, that I believe is still available, is the Bronze Seduction palette. I did look on the website yesterday, and I think that this one is also still available. I was definitely trying not to put anything that was, you know, limited edition or not available at Sephora, because I want you to be able to get that 20% off. But this is gorgeous, and this particular palette, the Bronze Seduction palette, it came out around Christmas of last year, and this has melted a lot of hearts, and you know, a lot of Pat McGrath fans have loved this palette, and they were just, it is also surprisingly neutral in terms of, you know, the looks that you can get out of it. Very workable. I mean, obviously, you know, this flame color right here, you know, it's kind of a special shade. It's not like a wearable, neutral, everyday sort of shade, but it is something unique, and you can also wear it underneath on your lower lash line. And there's just a lot of really pretty looks that I've seen with this palette, and it's just gorgeous. And it is one of the more usable, user-friendly Pat McGrath palettes that I have. And so for that reason, I chose the Bronze Seduction along with the Subliminal. If you wanted to either start or expand your Pat McGrath collection, those are two to consider. And, you know, when you're getting 20% off a palette that's as expensive as $125, it's good to be able to get a little chunk of change off. So, still on the palette kick, we're going to go to one of my favorite palettes, a palette that I consider my workhorse. It is the Viseart Neutral Mattes palette, and it is not, it's actually, I can't really, you know, because I had to glue in the pan because one of the colors came out, and it's literally a neutrals palette, but I have used this palette to death, and I use it all the time. It seems like I'm pulling this out every time I'm doing a makeup look, and for very good reason. They are blendable. The shadows are not, they don't have like a lot of silicone and slip in them, so they don't feel like ultra creamy to the touch, but they are very pigmented and they're very blendable, and they are just workhorses. And this is very pricey at $80 for this little 9 or 12 pan palette. $80 is pricey for it. However, this is a palette that I can 100% say is worth the $80, and then you get your 20% off. I know that Muse Beauty recently had a sale, and they came out with the Neutral Mattes 2 palette, which I very much intend to get, but I would have had to get a, you know, they had like during the sale, you buy 2 for $128 and get a free, I don't know, eye pencil or something, and there just wasn't another 12 pan that I was interested in to be able to get 2 of them for that price. And so I decided I'd just wait till it comes to Beautylish, or till, you know, it comes to Sephora, and I can, you know, get a coupon or something, or just at least not have to pay tax on it. So I just, you know, I decided to wait on the Neutral Mattes 2 because it wasn't on sale or anything. But this is a workhorse. This is something that I use all the time. It's not sexy, it's not glitzy, it's not sophisticated and fabulous, and the packaging is, you know, nothing that you just would swoon over and look at and be like, oh my God, that's so gorgeous. Never. You would see, I'm gonna have to re-glue those. And truth be told, and you'll never believe that I have like a little teeny tiny bit of a cheap streak in me, but I mean, I seriously thought about replacing this and just saying, well, you know, they are kind of falling out of the pans and I do use it all the time. I should just get a new fresh one and then get the neutral mattes too with it. But, you know, it's still usable. I just have to keep gluing the pans back in. And now I understand they have like a Slim Pro, a different packaging that hopefully is better, that, you know, the pans stay in. And eventually I will replace it and get another one. But right now it's very usable. I can't travel with it because it does, you know, they do tend to pop out and slide out. But this is a workhorse. I honestly, I can't say enough good things about this palette. It is definitely not sexy, but it is worth the $80. If I will just go ahead and say this right now. I'm going to talk about a lot of beautiful palettes, a lot of palettes that are just lovely and stunning, and you know, everything you could want in a palette. But if I had to just recommend one palette from all of the ones that I'm going to talk about today, this is the palette that I would most recommend. This Viseart Neutral Mattes palette is phenomenal in terms of its usefulness, its utility, the amount that you will actually use this palette. It's worth every dime. Neutral Mattes. I will get off the soapbox now about how awesome that palette is, but it really truly is. Now getting into some Natasha Denona, I highly recommend, probably of all her palettes, I recommend the Biba palette. And at $129, it is a bit on the pricey side, but so worth it. The formula, I love cool tone neutrals. I'm very much a cool tone neutral girl. And this row of cool tone neutrals right here, this is what drew me to this palette. But what keeps me coming back is that there are so many really great quality mattes in the palette. And I love, you know, good, rich, blended, pigmented mattes, and I think they play very well on mature eyes. And these shadows in particular are very flattering on more mature skin like mine. It doesn't emphasize any crepiness or texture on your lids. It blends like butter, like a dream. I highly recommend this Biba palette. Like I said, of all the Natasha Denona palettes I have, I highly recommend this one. I did pick up the gold palette during the sale, and I might pick up something else. I have the sunset, the lila, and of course I have the sunrise palette, which came out a couple of months ago and was so stunning, and I loved the fact that this was at a lower price point. It's a slightly smaller palette. I think it was only $69. This is stunning, and it's really not that much smaller than, you know, the larger ones that retail for $129. I mean, you get plenty of product here. The sunrise is gorgeous. The packaging, the shadows, just the whole nine, and you get plenty of shadow here, and it's beautiful. It's very, very blendable. The shimmers are nice. And I'm not normally a fan of the Natasha Denona shimmer formula. I really prefer the mattes. That's another reason why I really love the Biba palette, because there are only 3 shimmers in this palette, and the majority are mattes, and they're, you know, cool tone to neutral colors that I just can't get enough of. But this one is beautiful, and it will really give you a beautiful sunrise look that is, you know, with the purples and the pinks and the browns and the yellows, and it's just, it's a really, really flattering, stunning palette. So, and at the lower price point of $69, I think, and getting an additional 20% off is definitely a good thing. So next up, we've got some Tom Ford. My favorite Tom Ford eyeshadow quad, let me not blind you, is the Nude dip. This is what she looks like. And the packaging, just really this gorgeous wet dry formula that is really super duper flattering on the lids. You can take a quad like this and get a really, this is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and you can take a quad like this and get an eye look, a cohesive, flattering eye look in 5 minutes. It really does not take any time. It is that blendable, that pigmented, and the colors work well together, and you dip your brush in and 5 minutes later you have a really pretty look. This is like foolproof. It's very hard to screw this up kind of thing. Like I said, the colors just play well together. This is a very neutral palette that sort of leans to the cool side that I love, and it's just an incredible palette. Incredible. I highly recommend the Nude Dip palette. If I could only pick one, of the quads, it would be the Nude Dip. It's my favorite of all the ones that I have. I did pick up the one that I didn't have that I did want was the Coco Mirage, that is also a nude, and it has like a matte, it has a brown in it that is a matte brown, and I can't wait to get that. I picked that up at the sale. I highly recommend the Nude Dip. That's my absolute favorite. But that really, really good wet dry formulation is present in a lot, like probably about maybe 5 or 6 of the different Tom Ford palettes that share this formula. And so really it's a matter of which color you like or which color story you're more drawn to, and less about quality or anything like that, because these are all the same. Forgot that I had dropped this black on the floor, but I think it's hilarious that I happen to be talking about the quality of it and it just plops out. It just plops out. Anyway, I'll try not to be too vigorous with it, but it went right back in. I have not made an effort to glue that in since I dropped it during a video. But this is the Tom Ford Double Indemnity palette. It is another cool tone, gorgeous gray, black, pink shimmer, brown. Just, it's another glorious, glorious palette. This is my second favorite Tom Ford palette. And again, it has the same wet dry formula that is pigmented and just lays so nicely on the lids. It is really beautiful. It's very flattering. I'm gonna try to clean up a little bit of this black that I just kind of got everywhere. That's the Double Indemnity palette. Again, another cool tone. And one thing that I do like about this palette is I do love that it has a black in it, so you can go very deep. You can go deeper than you can go with the Nude Dip alone. And I just usually go in with this black, even when I use Nude Dip. I just go in with a tiny bit of the black in the corners of my eyes, and I love this palette. So if you like a cool toned neutral and you want to go a little bit deeper, say, than the Nude Dip, and you had to decide between the Nude Dip and the Double Indemnity, you can get pretty much the same looks with the Double Indemnity that you do with Nude Dip, but you can also go a little bit deeper and get a little bit more dramatic with it, because it does have that gorgeous black. Next up, my Honeymoon quad, which are these beautiful like purple, pink, and golds, just really glorious. They came out when they came out with the Double Indemnity palette. They have something very similar called the Body Heat palette that sold out when it was released. And it is very similar in color story to this palette, which is why I did not pick up the Body Heat, because like I said, it's very similar, but I think the colors are a little bit lighter, so I figured I would just keep my Honeymoon, and I don't need anything that's similar, but like a couple of shades lighter, and that's really what it looks like, even in the swatches that I've seen other people do. But like I said, from what I could tell, it is just like a lighter version of this. And maybe if you're very fair-skinned, or you just like that color story better because it's a little bit lighter, then I would go for the Body Heat over the Honeymoon palette. But I personally love this Honeymoon palette. This is the very first Tom Ford eye quad that I bought, and I love it. I love this formula. This is something I find myself wearing a lot during the fall, and it's just a beautiful color story. I mean, purples and golds, like who doesn't love purple and gold? Finally, if you are a warm tone lover, and I'm not a warm tone lover, but I wanted to include an option for those of you who love the warm tones, the Tom Ford Suspicion palette is this gorgeous, like it looks like brown and bronze suede. It's a really beautiful neutral palette, and it does lean very warm because of this sort of orangey color here, and just throughout the palette it's just a warmer tone palette, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is beautiful. It is absolutely stunning on the eyes. It looks like sunshine on the eyes, and I love this palette, but since I prefer cool tone neutrals, then I rank the other Tom Ford palettes above this one only for that reason. The formulation is stunning, and it is just indisputably, it's gorgeous on the eyes. It does look like sunshine on your eyes. It's a very beautiful palette. If you love warm tone neutrals, the Suspicion palette might be for you. Highlighters. So the Honeymoon palette by Tom Ford. Oh, I'm sorry. The quads retail for $88. So you're going to be getting 20% off of $88. So if you wanted to pick one or two or how many ever of those up, that's a nice chunk of change to take off of those palettes. The highlighting palette, I believe the highlighting palette, I want to say that it was $80 or $90. Maybe $90. I can double check that, but it's beautiful. It is a really nice, beautiful, cool toned, icy white, and a beautiful sort of cool toned, just glorious. This is such a beautiful blush topper. Or even when you just have bronzer on and you top your bronzer on your cheeks with this beautiful highlighter. Anyway, this is called Moodlight, is the name of this highlighting palette, and it is really, really beautiful. It's pigmented, it's smooth, it's flattering on the skin. It's what I'm wearing today, and I love, love, love this highlighter. I picked up one of the new ones. There are two new ones. One is called Flicker, which is for deeper skin tones. It has a really beautiful deep chocolate color and like a bright golden highlight, and I really wanted to get it, but who am I fooling? I mean, like, yeah, I think of myself as being, golden beige, but the truth is not so much. And it would probably be too deep for me, but I love the colors. It was so stunning. And if you have a true medium to deeper skin tone, I think you would probably really love that Flicker highlighting palette. I got the Incandescent, which is sort of, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's like a gold, like a more of a gold highlight, a light highlight. And this color is sort of like a terracotta highlighter. That looks like a beautiful blush or blush topper, and I've also seen like Mel Thompson use it as an eyeshadow, and it looked really beautiful. And these can be used as eyeshadows too, and that's one of the reasons why I thought about Flicker, because I thought, well, even if it's a little too deep for my skin tone, I could definitely use that on my eyes. But it's really gorgeous. These highlighting palettes are really, really stunning, and like I said, I think they're $90, but they're beautiful. And I picked up the Incandescent in a sale. Next up on highlighters, I got I have and highly suggest the Dior Backstage highlighting palettes. The first one that they came out with was called 001 Universal. And it is really beautiful. I love the see-through packaging. I love the price point. I think this was only $40. I think they've increased the prices, because I could have sworn that the second one they came out with was $45. But look how beautiful that is. I mean, you've got everything in this palette. If you wanted to just take one highlighting palette like on a trip, I mean, really, if you're starting your highlighting collection and you want to step up to a higher end highlighter, I highly recommend this palette because it has everything. Like, it has a white gold, it has a yellow gold, it has a bronze, and it has a pink highlighter. It kind of is an all-purpose highlighting palette, and I love the fact that it is, in fact, just like its name, it's universal, and it covers so many bases. And for only $40, it is a great buy. And if you have just sort of, been using drugstore highlighters or, lower end highlighters, and you were thinking about getting something a little more high end, this is a great value. I mean, really, you're paying $10 per highlighter, and they're worth every penny. They're very, very pigmented and really flattering on the skin. I love this highlighting palette. And because it's a good value, getting 4 colors for $40 or $45 respectively, I think that even though it's a higher price point, than your average price, single highlighter, you get so much more for your money, and it's very, very useful in terms of the different looks you can get. This is something, this is the 02, it's called Glitz, 002 Glitz, and that's the second one they came out with, and it is beautiful. I love this peach right here. You don't get a peach in that first one, but in this one you get your peach, you get a pink, you get a white gold, and you get your bronze, and they are really, really pretty and very shimmery, very, very nice. So you can't go wrong with either one of these highlighting palettes. I think it just depends on, which color store you like better. But these Dior Backstage highlighting palettes are really, really great. And, since you're spending an average of like $29 just for one regular single highlighter from a lot of the other high-end brands or even mid-range brands, you can spend the $40 and you can get 4 of them and, really have a great formula. So I highly recommend those during the sale. They're great. The Tom Ford Soleil bronzers. The 2 colors are Gold Dust and Terra. I picked up the really big one of Terra, which is the cooler toned bronzer. This one is Gold Dust, and I'll show you what she looks like. But she's very tiny. She's a little girl. She's a really tiny girl. This is almost, they call it a travel size, but it really looks like a travel size. And for $75, I mean, yikes. So I went ahead and spent $110 to get the large size. And this is the warmer toned one called Gold Dust. But it is really a beautiful color. It's just a gorgeous, the formula is very creamy. And from what I understand, this Soleil collection from this summer has a different formulation to the regular formulation that they use, which from my understanding is a little bit drier and more hard pressed into the pan. And so, most people who are Tom Ford aficionados of the bronzers prefer this formula over their regular one. So it's in this white packaging as opposed to their normal, like brown colored packaging that they have. So I picked up the Terra in the large, and like I said, that one was $110. I highly recommend them both. I think they're just beautiful. This is the warmer toned with more of a shimmery effect, and the Terra is supposed to be more matte in nature. And this has, I guess it's called Gold Dust, but it's not super shimmery. And when you put it on the skin, it doesn't look like you have shimmer on your skin. It just looks like maybe a luminous finish on this bronzer. But the Terra is supposed to be completely matte. So we'll see when I get it. So I did pick up the large size of the Terra because when I saw this little tiny guy, which is very cute, I was like, no, I'm gonna get the larger sizes. I've been wanting the Terra, and I was just waiting on a sale. So this is a perfect opportunity. The bronzer it's a really nice formulation, and I highly recommend picking up one of these at the sale, either the small or the large, depending, I guess, on how much bronzer you use. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one, just depending on if you like cool or warm tones. Then we're gonna get to, I'm gonna give an honorable mention and a shout out to this Hourglass Veil Powder. I use so little powder on my face because I find it to be aging and not the most flattering thing for a woman of my age. But this doesn't settle into lines. It doesn't get cakey. I don't have any problems with this Mineral Veil powder. No, it's called Translucent Setting Powder. Just Veil, not Mineral Veil. I'm thinking of Bare Minerals back in the day, but this is just Veil powder, and it's flattering, and it serves its purpose of mattifying and, you know, finishing your makeup look without creating cakiness or, you know, crepiness and weirdness with texture on your skin. So this was only $18 for this little jar, and you get a fair amount. And since I use so little powder, I mean, mine is still pretty full. I don't even think I need to get another one. But if you want to try this powder, I think the sale is a good time to pick up at least the mini and see if you like this formulation. I wish Sephora sold Sicily and Clé de Peau, but they don't. And I really have my eye on that Sicily powder that's $220. I mean, I want it bad. I've heard such great reviews about it. And while I actually love this Hourglass Veil powder, I can only use a tiny bit of it. I think if I use too much of it, it will become unflattering. And I just want a powder that I can use a little bit more of and not worry that it's gonna get unflattering, because I really do like the finish, you know, that powder gives on my skin. I like, you know, mainly I like the way that it looks on the perimeter of my face and not under my eyes. So the Viseart setting powder is another one that I wanted to pick up and try, because I've heard really good things about that. So I didn't put that with my order this morning, but I'm sure I'll be placing another order during the Rouge sale. But I bought a fair amount of stuff already. So I already, you know, spent some coin and did a little damage already, but I think I'm gonna add that Viseart, I think it's called Seamless setting powder. I've heard that that's a really good setting powder for under the eyes, and it's a low price point, so I think I'll try that. I will let you know for sure how that works out. We're gonna get into some lip products, and I love Pat McGrath, as I'm sure everybody on earth can tell. You know, this is a little bit of it's a bitter and a sweet review at the same time, because I'm such a huge Pat McGrath stan. And, you know, she came out with the system, with the foundation and the powder and all that stuff. And I wanted to love it so much. I wanted to love it so bad. But alas, I just could not. The primer and the setting powder were pretty awful. Mediocre at best. The foundation I liked. I thought it had a very pretty finish on the skin, but there's no way that I would include that in my, you know, recommendations video, because I honestly believe that there are better foundations. Now, I have not found my Holy Grail foundation yet. It's sad, but my favorite is still my IT Cosmetics CC cream. I also like the Chanel Vita Lumiere. I think it's very flattering on more mature skin. But I think it would be better for me during the winter months when my skin is a little bit drier. It's very luminous, but it can go a little greasy, you know. So I do like that foundation very much. The Pat McGrath, I like the foundation. It's not love. It's not true love. So I'm really sad to report that, but I can report that my favorite lip gloss, high-end lip gloss, is from Pat McGrath. If I'm going to spend, and now it's $30. I think it was $26 or $28, and the prices have gone up. So the lipsticks are now $40. They were $38, so pricey. My three favorites are Bronze Divinity, and I love the packaging, but these retail for $30. It's a great formulation. It's not sticky. It's not the most pigmented gloss on the planet. So if that's what you're getting it for, then no. It's a luxurious, flattering, beautiful gloss with just, you know, like moderate pigmentation. It is beautiful. This can be worn alone or with a lip liner or however on top of lipstick, but this Bronze Divinity is a gorgeous shade. It's almost like a pinky bronze color. It is really, really pretty. I have almost all the colors, but these three are my favorite. So that's Bronze Divinity. Next up, we've got Secret Lover. I love this. It's just a beautiful mid-tone pink, cool tone pink, and it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful, nice cool tone pink. It makes your teeth look nice and white, and it's just a really pretty gloss that you can just wear. You know, I'm just gonna put some on because I think that this is so pretty. I really love this gloss, and this one's very pigmented. And it's just a really pretty moisturizing gloss, and it stays on for a really long time. You don't have to keep touching it up and keep touching it up, and it's just a really great non-sticky formula. It doesn't, you know, create those horrible little lip gloss strings in your lips or anything like that. It's a beautiful gloss. And you know, if you're interested in picking up a high-end gloss during the sale, I highly recommend the Pat McGrath. My third favorite is a really unique shade called Aliengenic, and it looks white in the tube, and of course it's not white on your lips, but it's got beautiful reflex. It's got like blue reflex and pink and all kinds of really beautiful colors, but it is very reflective and just a really beautiful, unique gloss. It's like a lip topper, and it's beautiful. It shifts, and it has like green and blue and pink. It's really, really a unique gloss. So Aliengenic is the third recommendation that I would have for Pat McGrath. I love Pat McGrath's lipsticks, both the Matte Trance formula and the Luxe Trance formula. But they are pricey, and now they're $40. I have a bunch of them, but my absolute favorite of all time, my favorite lipstick of all time, is Los Angeles by Pat McGrath. And it is this really gorgeous, ooh, I have some smearing. It's a beautiful, cool toned, nude, taupey brown color called Los Angeles. And it is super flattering, makes your teeth look nice and white, and it's just pretty. It's a pretty, pretty lipstick. The Luxe Trance formula is moisturizing. It is very pigmented. It stays on forever and a day. You don't have to keep touching it up, and it's just a glorious lipstick. Actually, on the website when I got it, it was a little bit cheap. It was cheaper. It was like $28 or something. I don't know why, but it was $28 when I got this, and I think I've only seen this lipstick, this color, for $28 for some reason, which I'm not mad about. That my favorite color, my favorite lipstick, just happens to be cheaper than all the other ones. I'm definitely not mad. So Los Angeles, if you can find it, is definitely, it's a great lipstick. But that formula, the lust, what do you call it? Let me get it together. Luxe Trance. The Luxe Trance formulation, this is what she looks like, is just a cut above and totally worth the $40 in my opinion. And where did my point go? It just kind of escaped me. But there are so many beautiful colors. I'm thinking about picking up a few more colors because I have more of the Matte Trance than the Luxe Trance. But I really, really love this. And then the brand new Glitz Trance, the 9 new shades she came out with, those are all universally beautiful. But a few of the colors are similar to other colors. So, you know, the new formula is amazing, pigmented, really nice. So if that's your thing, more of a luminous finish, more luminous than the Luxe, then I would definitely try that as well. But her lipsticks are amazing, definitely worth the money. So I hope you enjoyed this video of all the things that you can spend a boatload of money on, because I certainly spent a boatload of my money this morning, and I definitely intend to go back because I have a few more things I want to get. Please comment below and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the very next one.